Hi, this is Dr. Tim Smith from New Life Chiropractic, your max living doctor. Today I want to talk a very important topic, which is why do kids get adjusted? The top two reasons why people bring their kids to chiropractors is because of ear infections and digestive issues. And many people know that chiropractic can help with these things naturally to avoid antibiotics and other medical interventions that have their own set of side effects and typically don't really correct the underlying cause. When we look at why we have kids here in our office, we do see people coming in with conditions. That's usually why a lot of people start coming to the chiropractor. But what they start to notice is that their children's health improves and they actually come and stay on a preventative basis. We are a family wellness office, so we see all kinds of kids, adolescents, teenagers, and really the whole purpose of this is to help their bodies start at their best. You can see here, these are many of the kids that we have coming into the office. If you've ever been to our office before, there's always kids, children coming around, and they are patients in the office. And whole families are coming in year after year because they see that they're sick less often. Their kids are getting injured less. They're taking less medications, less doctor visits. They're spending less money on medical care because they're actually healthier overall. And the research supports the same thing. So I want to go through a few examples with you so you understand how this process is working and why we're seeing that kids who are under regular chiropractic care are the healthiest kids in our community year after year. So I'm going to go through some examples of why children need to be adjusted. Many parents ask me, why do I need to get my child checked? Well, what we found is many children can experience subluxation without even having symptoms. And most likely that started from the birth process itself. So many things can happen there. Maybe you had a C-section, the baby didn't go through the birth canal, so the skull wasn't compressed like it needed to, the spine wasn't compressed, the fluids weren't pumped out, which can cause subluxation from birth. Maybe it was a difficult delivery. Either labor was stalled and you had a lot of contractions, it was a long labor time, and the head kept pushing and pushing and pushing into the birth canal, which can shift things out of alignment in the neck. Maybe forceps or vacuum delivery had to be used to distract the neck, which can actually cause damage to the brainstem and spinal cord itself. Perhaps intervention had to be used, like Pitocin or inducement, which will speed up and intensify the contractions, which will actually put more compression on the baby's head. And perhaps it was even a natural, healthy birth that could still have put tension in there just because of the process itself. This is what causes subluxation over 95% of the cases that we see. But again, it goes undetected. But immediately, it starts to affect the function of the brain and the nervous system. The two most common reasons parents bring kids to the chiropractor, like I said earlier, is ear infections and digestive system problems. This is Kayla. She had had ear infections from the time she was very young, multiple times per year her entire life. Multiple rounds of antibiotics, multiple medications, trips to the ER, severe debilitating type of pain there. They even wanted to do surgical tubes into her ears, but her mom didn't want that. Thankfully, another mom who had had a similar experience and brought her child to the chiropractor referred her into our office, where she was able to get checked. And what we found was she had a complete loss of the normal curve in her neck. Likely she had subluxation her entire life, which was interfering with the nerve function going into her ears, going into her eyes, nose, throat, affecting her immune system function. This was the cause. No doctor looked for this cause and was only treating the effect. And it wasn't until Kayla started coming in for regular chiropractic care that there was any change in her health. After just 4 months of corrective chiropractic care, there was a complete restoration of the curve. What this did was correct the cause, remove the interference to the nervous system, and her body healed itself. Never had another ear infection. She was also developing allergies, digestive problems. She was on multiple medications. She was having difficulty with focus and sleep. Now she's focusing just fine. She's functioning normally. There wasn't something wrong with her medically. She had an interference that was keeping her body from functioning as it should. Once we found and correct that interference, her body was able to heal itself naturally. Now 4 months later, no more digestive problems, no more ear infections, no more medications, normal healthy child. That's amazing. That's exactly why we get kids checked here in our office. I want to go through another example. Very similar x-ray, complete loss of normal curve, significant brainstem spinal cord compression. This child here, no symptoms. Most kids that are getting checked in our office are on a preventative basis. You see, his mom started care in the office and learned these principles, and as a parent, who's the first person you think should want to get checked? Of course, it's her kids. Right? As parents, I have kids of my own. I checked all my children the minute that they were born to make sure that they started life off at 100%. We did find issues, and they continue to get checked at least a couple times a month. Just think about where this would be in 5 years had we never found this. Where this would be in 10 years. Another child that has asthma, another child with allergies and food intolerances, another child with ADHD that has headaches, neck pain, depression, anxiety. Very common we see things like this. You see, people don't understand that only 10% of your nervous system even detects symptoms and pain. And you have to have a 40% loss of normal function of any organ, cell, or tissue before you notice that symptom. So by the time Michael here noticed the symptom, it would have been so much worse. The best miracles are the things that never happen. How amazing is it that we're able to find and correct this now so that it doesn't become another major health issue? This was his x-ray just a few months later. Full correction. When a child is young is the most important time for development of the brain and nervous system. 0 to 2 is where a majority of the nervous system develops. 0 to 7 is when you can completely change the entire health future of somebody neurologically. After age 7, subluxation becomes very difficult to correct and sometimes can never get a full resolution. I want to go through one more example. This is scoliosis. So Lindsay at age 12 was checked for scoliosis in school. They knew she had a problem then, but they did nothing about it. They said, we're just going to wait and see what happens. But again, her parents understood this principle. They knew that even just 1% loss of function has an effect on her health, and they wanted to make sure that wasn't going to happen. She had a 15-degree scoliosis at just age 12. She was able to get started with corrective chiropractic care when that was its most correctable. She had, again, no symptoms. But we know scoliosis over a lifetime can take up to 14 years off your life from the medical research. We know that scoliosis can not just cause massive pain and distortion of posture, but can also affect the function of cells, tissues, organs. People will develop digestive problems, endocrine issues, heart and lung problems, chronic pain issues. She's never going to have to experience any of that because she was able to find and correct it early. This is her x-ray 6 months later. Through corrective chiropractic care, she was able to get a full correction and is now able to maintain that a couple of times a month. Because we're not just about helping people feel better, correcting neck and back pain. We're about restoring function and helping people prevent issues from coming up so they can live a healthier life naturally. And so by maintaining that correction, you make sure it never goes back here again. These are just a couple of examples of why all kids need to get checked. So if you have children, whether they're having health issues or not, and you want to make sure they're living the healthiest life possible naturally, make sure they're getting checked by a corrective care chiropractor. If you live here in the area, you can find us online at maxlivingrockland.com. If you live outside this area and you want to get the same level of care, go to maxliving.com. Find a corrective care chiropractor. Make sure your kids are getting checked and adjusted regularly so that they may have the best chance to live the healthiest life possible. That's exactly what we do. We empower families to live a healthy life naturally through the 5 essentials of Max Living. I'm Dr. Tim Smith. Thanks for joining us. I look forward to helping your family live a healthier life.